All right, they're taking out some sharks. They're taking out some of our sharks, boys. We gonna let that happen? We gonna let that happen? Woo! Shark, shark, shark! Hey everybody, welcome back, and thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game. It is bright in here today. Grixis Control is straight shining. You're gonna need to put on your shades to play this as well. We're in best of one today, killing rogues with a 100% win rate. Multiple rogue matchups for you guys today so you can see exactly how it's done. It would appear that we're playing traditional, but we're not. It's a wish board that we will access via Fae of Wishes, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, of course. If you do find any value within the video, I encourage you to give it a thumbs up, share the channel to a friend, and of course, subscribe for your chance to win up to 500,000 gems. More information on that, plus all of our free entry cash prize tournaments within the Discord. Join the community. We've got a lot going on. We are also playing today with Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant, available for free within the Overwolf link in the description below. You know, we get stats and tools, all your decks and your draft helper. You know, you get straight up ranking with all of the other people using the assistant, and most importantly, in my opinion, the metagame overview, so you can see what decks are being played, and then you also will get deck write-ups and deck videos so you can learn how to play some of these other decks by other content creators just like myself. So check out Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant, available for free within the Overwolf link in the description below. Everything else will be in the link tree link. With that out of the way, thank you for your time and attention. Let's get into Grixis Control. We start the deck out with 4 copies of Blood Chief's Thirst for 1, destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 2 or less. This is the crab killer, right? This was included because, you know, Lurrus Rogue plays all 2 or less rogues. So this will kill any one of their rogues early game, plus the crabs. Absolutely amazing. In our non-rogue matchups, it's still relevant. We get the rest of the meta's early game drops, plus we can kick it for 3-4 total to destroy any creature or planeswalker at sorcery speed. And you know, as a control deck, you gotta prioritize your removal, right? So we do have field wipes within the deck, and some things can survive certain wipes, like a creature with indestructible may survive a damage-based wipe or a destroy-based wipe. So we may need to prioritize our exiles to creatures that can survive regular removal, and prioritize, you know, our regular removal on creatures that do not survive the destroy. That part's kind of straightforward though, right? Moving forward, we do have 2 copies of Shatterskull Smashing. This is a 2-drop plus X, so we could include it somewhere later on in the deck, but we'll talk about it now. Sorcery speed, dealing X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. So, you know, obviously if you cast it for 2, it's dealing 0 damage. That's why it's not really a 2-drop. But the more mana you sink into the smashing, the more relevant it will be. And if you can get it to 6 or more, so, you know, casting it for 8 total, that damage that you assign will actually be doubled, which is really, really cool. So, you know, we can also have this come in tapped as a land. We can pay life if we need to. Typically, we try to stray away from paying life as a control deck. There's no form of life gain within the deck other than 1 card from our sideboard, so be sparing with that. I guess we actually do have life gain within the Maze Mind Tome, but it's not enough to rely on. So only pay life if you're not against an aggro deck, right? If it's another control deck and you're looking for the mana, sure, go for it. But if it's an aggro deck, do not just be paying life for this, unless it immediately will save you more life than you just paid. So if we're playing a wipe after this and we need the mana for this right now, and the wipe will stop 7 damage, and, you know, we have to pay 3 to get that wipe out, then that's going to be a positive net gain. So there are certain situations where you will pay life, but as a relative rule, if it's an aggro deck, try to sneak it out early and don't pay life for it. You know, we did talk about the life gain within the deck. I forgot about Mazemind Tome. Whenever you do anything, you put a counter on the tome, and when the tome has 4 or more counters on it, oh, I guess it will never have more. Once it gets its 4th counter on it, you sacrifice it and gain 4 life. And we do have 4 of these within the deck, so there's a potential bit of life gain there. It's nothing like Life Link that hits every turn, but you know, it will help mitigate some of the damage that we take. We get to tap it, no mana spent to scry 1. That's always great, doing this on our opponent's end step or before our draw step. We can also pay 2 to tap it to draw a card. Absolutely amazing if we have the mana to sink in on our end step. We do hold up a lot of our mana within playing the deck because we have instances and we have counters, and then if we don't use any of those instant spells, we can tap in and draw with our tome. Speaking of some of the instant spells that we want to hold up our mana with, 2 copies of Negate, counter target non-creature spell. They have Aghadeem's Awakening rogues, which is really annoying, and that's basically the only non-creature spell you're going to want to counter within rogues, unless it's one of their counter spells, right? Maybe you do a field wipe and they throw out a counter spell. Well, maybe you have enough mana because you are a control deck and the match should go long enough that you have the extra sauce to throw on top, and you can counter their counter so your wipe still goes through. Speaking of counters, we have Jwari's Disruption, also for 2 instant speed, countering target spell unless its controller pays 1. This is really good early game if you can get it out. It loses its muster late game unless your opponent is playing big spells like Genesis Ultimatum, where they're tapping all of their mana. It also counters Ugins really good, so typically it's used early game because your opponent will be spending all of their mana in the first like 3-4 turns, and then they get to like turn 5 and 6 where it's like, well, I'm dropping multiple spells each turn, but then like turn 7, turn 8, then they're dropping those huge spells potentially, and then it will become relevant again. It's also great just to play as the land coming in tapped and you know, helping us get towards our own massive spells. We talked about Fae of the Wishes being included for our wish board. It's a 1/4 with flying, in which we can pay 2 mana, discarding 2 cards from our hand as well to return it from the battlefield to our hand, which is actually pretty cool. So we could do a chump block in which it would die, bounce it to our hand, that damage doesn't go through, and you know, we do have Grant It, which is the really in-house keeper here for 4 sorcery adventure. You may reveal a non-creature card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand, and we're going to get to our wish board when we do wrap up our main board here. So whatever you need, we've got it covered, and Fae of Wishes will pull it out for you. Really great ability. Not to mention it's a 1/4 flyer, so this can defend against literally every rogue they have except Zarathan, and if they're playing Lurrus, there is no Zarathan. Moving forward, 2 copies of Midnight Clock, another anti-rogue card for 3 mana. It taps to add a blue to our pool, so it helps us ramp a little bit into those bigger spells. We can pay 3 to put a counter on it. This is a repeatable ability. It doesn't tap it or anything. And when we have 12 counters on it, we actually shuffle our hand and our graveyard back into our library and draw 7 cards. So this negates the mill effect of the rogues because we're shuffling our graveyard back into our library, and we also restock our hand, which is pretty cool because typically around you know, turn 7, turn whatever this pops off on, we're running out of cards. So to draw 7 cards when your opponent doesn't have any is ridiculous. So Midnight Clock is absolutely amazing in the current meta. 4 copies of Soul Shatter, instant speed for 3. Each opponent sacrifices a non-creature or planeswalker with the highest converted mana cost among creatures and planeswalkers they control. So not only does this slay Ugins, but it also takes out Dream Trawler. You know, it's instant speed, so potentially also takes out Zarathan if you're looking at the rogue matchup. So it has a lot of really good plays. We see Garrix and Vivian sometimes, but whatever their biggest threat is, this is going to easily deal with it for you at instant speed, which is as good as it gets as far as I'm concerned, especially seeing as it's a sacrifice effect, and you know, Dream Trawler or other creatures with hexproof typically can't be targeted, and that's a great way to get them. 2 copies of Valakut Awakening, instant speed. Put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw that many cards +1. This is great, seeing as it is instant speed, and we do hold up our mana a lot of the time to see what our opponent does, whether we use instant speed removal, whether we use an instant speed counter. And then if we don't have to use anything, we have the option to draw with the tome, and then, you know, the more options, the better. So if we still have untapped mana, we can toss some cards back in our library and draw that many +1, which is just a great way to replenish your hand and look for that specific piece that you need at the time. Moving into our 4-drops, 2 copies of Storm's Wrath, sorcery speed, dealing 4 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. If you can get this out, it basically wipes the field of most things. If not, it will get you halfway there. Speaking of getting you halfway there, we do have Extinction Event, sorcery speed, choose odd or even, exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. Typically, rogues have odd and even. Rogues don't have 4 or more toughness, so Storm's Wrath grabs them quite nicely. Where Extinction Event shines over the Wrath is the exile. Lurrus will be replaying rogues quite often from the graveyard, and if you can be exiling them, then there's nothing to replay from the graveyard, right? So that's great. Speaking of Lurrus, Ashiok's Erasure, this is a great card to counter their Lurrus with. It's flash, which is really nice. It's an enchantment, which is cool as well. And then you target a spell that your opponent controls. You exile it until Ashiok's Erasure leaves the battlefield, and they can't cast spells with the same name as the exiled card. So this is great, not only in the rogue matchup to deal with the Lurrus, but it also deals with really pesky things like the Genesis Ultimatum in the Temur Ramp build, right? So whatever your opponent's big payoff spell is, Ashiok's Erasure is going to shut it down. Maybe your opponent's ramping into an Ugin. Nope, not anymore. And those other 2 copies in your library are also useless, right? So Ashiok's Erasure is just a great card right now, in my opinion. Shark Typhoon for 6. I can't get over this card. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. This is a little risky biscuits. It's an expensive spell. It costs 6, but the payoff is huge if your opponent can't deal with it, even for a couple turns. There are easy ways to deal with it. Obviously, it's an easy counter. Most counter spells don't cost 6, so it's you know, mana advantage to your opponent that you've just given up. And it's easily removed for much less than 6. Wilt is 2. Gemrazer can mutate for 3, right? So that's a bit of a bummer. So, you know, kind of take note of whether or not your opponent can deal with it if they're tapped, and then if they can deal with it once it's on the field. If the answers are no to both of those, play it. It's a bomb, and you're going to be making sharks every time you cast a non-creature spell, which is amazing. If they can deal with it, you could just cycle it away for 2+X, creating an XX blue shark creature token with flying, right? So it replaces itself, and you get the big old shark out of it, which is great against rogues. So the Shark Typhoon is great being played against rogues unless it's countered. You have to have them tapped. If they're gonna counter it, just cycle it. Make a shark on you know, their attack phase to chump block. Boom, they just lost their Thought Thief or something, right? So the Shark Typhoon's an amazing card. We do have, I believe, 3 copies of Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. We're being that guy. You have to in today's age. It's 2020. 7 loyalty when it enters, +2, 3 damage to any target, -X, exiling each permanent with converted mana cost X or less, that's 1 or more colors, and -10, you gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, and put 7 permanents from among permanents in your hand into the battlefield, which is, that's a thing, right? We don't have a ton of permanents, but, you know, just drawing 7 cards, getting 7 life is going to be insane. And I said we didn't have life gain in the deck. We've got multiple copies of life gain. I mean, Ugin -10 is rare, but you'll get there, and people will probably concede once you do. We've got a lot of land in the deck. It's a little weird. You know, if you're a budget player, I'm sorry. 2 copies of Castle Vantress, in which we can tap for 5, scrying 2. Very cool. We have, you know, 2 islands, 5 swamps, 3 mountains, 3 Clearwater and Murkwater pathways. That's really good. Except it has low synergy with the castle because it's a land, it's not an island, obviously. We also have 1 Temple of Deceit for good luck, scrying 1, 3 Riverglide and Valakut pathways, an additional Temple of Malice for good luck as well for the scry, and then 1 Fable Passage, which is in there to draw an island, so our Castle Vantress can come in untapped a little later on, right? So Typically, our Vantress will come in tapped here most times, but it's still worth it for the Scry 2, in my opinion. We have Fae of Wishes granted, which allows us to go to the sideboard. Let's break down these 15 cards now. Woof, this is as bad as a Brawl deck. We have an additional Smashing. This is great for removal. Plus, if we're light on land, we can pull that and play it as the land, which is nice. We have Thassa's Intervention for 2+X, instant speed, which is nice. Choose one. Look at the top X cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, or counter target spell unless its controller pays twice X. You know, this is a great utility. It can draw you what you need from your main deck. It can also, you know, just counter the spell. Erebos Intervention for 1+X at instant speed as well. Target creature gets -X until end of turn. You gain X life, so a little bit more life gain. And then exile up to twice X cards from graveyard. So you can kind of graveyard hate on the rogue decks. You can empty your graveyard, you can empty their graveyard. It's not only your graveyard you want to keep kind of light for Drown in the Lock, you know, the Thought Thief, the Enforcer, that all get buffs when you have 8 or more cards in the grave. But they also have Aghadeem's Awakening to replay cards from the grave, much like Lurrus does. So we can empty their grave as well with the Intervention, which is a lot of fun. 1 copy of Seagate Restoration, similar to the Smashing. You know, if we need the blue, it can come in. And then if we're looking for the draw, this is a great card for that as well. Shutting down most mid-range decks is Kyora, Best the Sea God. You know, when it enters, you create an 8/8 with Hexproof, which is insane. And then on the next turn, tap all non-land permanents your opponents control. They don't untap during their next untap step. And then finally, you actually get to gain control of target permanent and opponent controls and untap it, which is, it's just too much. You know what I mean? That's a great card. Sublime Epiphany for 6 instant speed as well. Choose 1 or more, which is so much value. Counter target creature spell, counter target activated or triggered ability, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a token that's a copy of a target creature you control, which would be a shark. Target player draws a card. So there's a lot of value hidden within this card, and you know, if we're ahead and you can pull this, you're gonna really basically just shut down the game. Speaking of shutting down the game, we had to go for the extra spice with Discontinuity for 6. It's instant speed. It does cost 4 less to cast, so you can get it off for 2 if it's your turn. So if there is some sort of thing that you don't like that's about to happen, you can just stop it, which is sick. And then just end the turn, right? Everything that's on the stack, everything just ends immediately as soon as this is cast, which is so insane. I don't even know what to say. It does have to resolve, but you know, you probably will be doing that anyways. Shadow's Verdict, sorcery speed for 5, exile all creatures and planeswalkers with converted mana cost 3 or less from the battlefield, and all creatures and planeswalker cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from all graveyards. Sorry, rogues, especially the Lurrus rogues, right? Not only will this get rid of their field state and have them exiled, it will also empty their graveyard. Shadow's Verdict is insane! 2 additional Storm's Wrath, an additional Ashiok's Erasure, Witch's Vengeance for 3, so a little bit lighter than Shadow Verdict. Sorcery speed, creatures of the creature type of your choice get -3/-3 until end of turn. Obviously, we're picking rogues with this 9 times out of 10. You know, if it's some more other tribal deck, it works too, but, you know, it's just so great to drop this on rogues. I love it. Necromantia for 3, sorcery speed. Choose a card name other than a basic land card. Then search your target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name and exile them. They get to shuffle their library and create a 2/2 zombie for each creature that was exiled from their hand this way. So, you know, only will they have a 2/2 if you exile from their hand, and you get to take whatever they want. There's obviously, you go for the Ugins most times, but anything else you could get as well. Obviously, you could take their Genesis Ultimatum and just whatever their big payoff is, you go with it for Necromantia. Underworld Breach, this is for extra sauce versus the rogues if you don't empty your graveyard. An enchantment for 2. Each non-land card in your graveyard has escaped. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus 3 other cards from your graveyard. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice Underworld Breach. Right? Just grab an Ugin from the grave if they mill you. It's just a last ditch effort so that we can grab whatever we want that's already been in play. Rolling Vortex, an enchantment also for 2, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep deals 1 damage to them, and then whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was cast on that spell, it'll deal 5 damage to that player, which is great, and then we can stop our opponents from gaining life. So not only can we shut down a few different decks, but we can also, you know, stop our opponents from gaining life, which is a real nice part there. So, you know, we're getting into it a little bit further than we typically do, trying to slow down a little bit, talking about everything individually so you get a good grasp on it while you get into it. And the overall strategy is to prolong the match, make the game go to turn 7, go to turn 8, turn 10 even if you can. Grind your opponent's hand out, right? Get them down so they're top decking, and you'll win. You've got plenty of sharks, you've got an Ugin, and I guess Fae of Wishes can get in there for a little bit of damage as well, maybe. You're protected from rogues in so many different ways. This should be a great deck to play in best of 1. So again, thank you for your time and attention. I really appreciate it, you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel to a friend to help my channel grow. Support financially even, that would be amazing, on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, and we have a new Amazon link I get 3% from, so do your Christmas shopping there. That would be amazing. Go pick up yourself a pair of shades, right? All right, you guys, make sure to watch to the end so you don't miss out on some once in a lifetime news. You guys know everything already. We'll talk to you in a few. A decent hand. I mean, 2 Typhoons is awkward. We'll probably cycle the first one. The Tome is what makes it really nice. The Vantress will come in first. We don't have a turn 1, and then, you know, we get rid of it coming in tapped later. The pathways are great, but they have little synergy with the castles, and I mean, rightfully so. It would be way too OP. And yeah, let's just like not even let it mill us once. Just like, all crabs must die, right? Get out of here. Grab a leg. That was made specifically for crabs, and that's our second crab, so that's like pretty gross. Just kill the crab, right? Even though Luris is gonna replay it later. Whatever, man. It's one card for 1 card. Just like, let's stop it. It's annoying and I hate it. I mean, we could have tuned the deck against rogues more, but you know, trying not to. Are they bricking? You're gonna try to counter whatever we do, which makes sense. Playing double blue for Ashiok's Erasure. Let's try to play the Tome into a counter. Ooh, it lands. That's a Scry engine for a little bit. I think they'll just play land, get Luris into their hand. Like, they don't need very many lands to get after it, right? 2-3 lands, the rogue deck is rolling. Take our Scry. We could draw here, but I like that clock, so that's fine. Get our second black source in. Here's our clock, which again, can be countered, whatever. It's very low priority. Nope, Thought Thief. And it does a good job at countering their mill. Thank you. We have 3 mana available. We can make a itty bitty shark, but I would rather make a big shark and block this guy, right? Because they can't counter our cycle, and much of their removal is sorcery speed other than drown in the lock. Oh man, they take 2 Blood Chief's Thirsts off the top. Ouch. Take our draw. That's our 6 land. We can put a 4/4 in play. Sorry, 5/5 with the clock. Could play our second tome, make it 3/3. Yeah. More rogues. You know, at least there's not the Guild Thief Enforcer. Or Thieves Guild Enforcer, sorry. Then we'd be getting milled on each entry here. And then we have 4 available mana. Oh no, sorry, 5 available mana. I was like, no, that's not right. Thought we had this planned out. Hard to see with the glasses. I'm kind of liking it. Now I've got something new to blame all my misplays on, right? Oh, sorry, it was the glasses, guys. Oh, gosh. So there needs to be an instant speed Drought in the Lock on the Shark, which obviously there is. Or they're trying to find it with a self-sacrifice of the Robber for the draw. We do have 10 in the grave, so that's applicable. Don't you dare touch my shark! Shark, shark, shark! Alright, a Heartless Act. That's pretty cool. Speloosh. Taking some damage. That's okay, though. That's okay, that's okay. That should be their turn. We'll wait for after the mills to do our scrying. Our turn. Alright. Let's see what we get. Bleep bloop. Fae is exactly what I want. Yeah, okay. Okay. Watch this. You never seen a rogue play like this. Well, we should just sneak this out, shouldn't we? Man, what a bummer. I want to go into our sideboard and play our Witch's Vengeance. Just to wipe the field of rogues. Just so I can name rogues as the creature type, right? But I think we just need to be responsible. Right? It's pretty early on in the game. Let's get a Typhoon in play. And then we can just Fae for our wipe. And we should be good to go. Let's activate our Storm's Wrath with the second red source there. You know, we can even play the Defender, but I think we're better off to go to our sideboard. So let's pass our turn. Our opponent can beat us down a little bit more, but I think we're in a relatively good position. The nice thing about the Shark Typhoon is whenever it's cast, so it doesn't need to enter play, it can be countered and still create the shark, which for me is a lot of fun. All right, 2 land, and then we'll lose 2 more cards here. Shark Typhoon sucks, and a land. Okay. It just passed because I clicked Resolve All. I don't know. We just missed a draw there. Oh, God. That could make the difference here, but, you know, at least we do get the 4/4 Shark. It's what we should play. And just so they get to see it. You know what I mean? Another 4/4 Shark. I cannot wait for them to read Witch's Vengeance. Got him. And we don't have the mana, but they don't have the mana either. right? They still have to bring Lurrus into their hand, which means they'll be spending 3 mana potentially to do it, which will open our Erasure up, right? Because we're sitting on 7, so we've got 4 and 3, so we can do our Vengeance and our Erasure. I guess we could have taken something along the lines of a counterspell to protect us, but we should be okay here. There shouldn't be any attacks. Okay, nice. Sploosh. We do, I'll admit, our backs are against the wall, but I think we are okay. You put that Lurrus in your hand, boy. Right? Come on. Do it. Do it. Don't worry about it. See if we get any attacks. We do. Well, slay the Thought Thief. They would. And now they chump block. We do have, you know, 4 life here. Sitting pretty, which is nice. And we'll toss the shark up. They're going to self-sacrifice the one that will block here. For the draw. It's a great play. They're looking for counterspells. Then they take their 4. We mill 2. We're at 30 still. Disruption, that's fine. A little late for that. Oh, Extinction Event. I would appreciate that. Alright, the Exile against Lurrus is great. What? I feel like that's their 5th copy of that. Oh god. Put Lurrus in your hand. There you go. Totally tapped. I can't believe these people. Welcome to 2020. We'll grab our 4 life here, scrying as well. It doesn't matter what's there. Sitting at 7, which is all we need. We do need. We need 2 black and 2 blue, right? Which we do have. So that's okay. The smashing, I guess, isn't that bad. Not great. Makes a shark though, at least. They can't counter here. We're low on life. I'm just gonna scry for the counter, as we are low on life. 4 life a little earlier on won't hurt if things don't go as I plan. Yeah. Got So they're gonna sack the robbers, but at the end of the day, whatever. We're wiping the field without killing our Shark Typhoon. Yeah, rogue. That's what it could be. A human, that's fine. We're not a human, but it's about just clicking rogue. That's where, you know, it really becomes quite fun. And we have 5 mana available still, right? 4 for this and the one over here. So let's just end our turn. We're creating sharks to block any of the rogues, and we've got the Erasure for Lurrus. Yeah. This is the most rewarding match I've played in a while. Oh, they could counter our Erasure though. I never thought of that. I wonder if they have it. We create the 4/4 shark as a minimum. They could counter it. They got a full hand from the draws. You know, it does have to be a traditional counter, like a negate. Oh, it hits. Awesome. Oh, and it's probably because they didn't play their swamp beforehand that they couldn't use their drown in the lock. We lose a shark here. Another Blood Chief's Thirst. I think that's their 3rd one they've played. And the Duelist being played main phase, even though it has flash to reduce our shark. Interesting, they want to mill us. They get an Ugin off the top, which is actually semi-relevant. Take the scry. We're at 25 cards still. The Disruption can go. It's not really relevant at this point. We're going to be shuffling in a few turns, which is a lot of fun. We have a Castle Vantress. Take the damage. Man, they'll probably have removal. Let's just throw the blockers up in the air. End our turn. I mean... Oh, I guess we should have played this, because they're going to get shuffled in. But at the end of the day... Sorry, rogues. We got you covered today with the Grixis Control. This is a little awkward. I mean... You hate to mulligan as a control deck. Just play slow. And maybe that's our best bet, and just build to Ugin so slowly. This is a hard keep. We have to mulligan this. Keeping 6, tossing an Ugin. We'll play our hut out of the gate. That's our red source. Mostly just for Storm's Wrath. Ooh. We just need to build into this, right? So this will come in as the black source. But we don't want to play tap for 2 turns. We want this to be the last land that comes in. We're going to get beat down. Hopefully they play all evens, right? That's going to be our saving grace here. That's actually pretty relaxing. Right, and now we can hold up our disruption. Or do we just play our tome, right? No, we hold up our disruption. We play it smart. Oh! I mean, that's never how you want that to go, but whatever. Right, we wanted to counter this play, not that play. But I don't want to get laughed at. Alright, so Tome's in play. They didn't play anything, we have no counters. That's a draw next turn, or on their end step. Let's put a stop. We're going to get in the habit of that, you guys, teaching you how to play your phases correctly. You know, myself as well. Right, most of our misplays do come from I don't know if it's UI glitches where, like, if there's not a stop, sometimes if you press resolve all, it just skips right through even though you had available things to do. That's one of the things. So, you know, when you do have an idea to do something at a certain point within the match, put a stop so it does stop. And then manually tapping your mana all the time is I think a good idea. Really, no play. Let's take the draw. Our turn. Pulling land is just so good here, right? The Midnight Clock helps us get into our Ugin at an expedited rate. And again, we have another draw through our tome when we put our stop on our opponent's end step. They're, oh, banishing light on our clock? Interesting. Let's utilize the mana from it before they take it. We can just take our turn now. Our secondary blue source. Passing. we can start utilizing our Castle Vantress. Or the draw. The draw is fine too. A Worthy Knight. That's okay. That's an even. Keep note of that. All of the 1/1 tokens it creates are also even, as 0 is an even number as well, so that's a lot of fun. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. That's not a problem for us. Take a draw, why not? Let's just take it. Basically 2 for 1. Always feels good, and you know we're ready to draw again, sacrificing our tome. We have Ugin to start plussing. Worried about other banishing lights in our hand is the thing, right? So we don't really want to play our Ugin so much, but we will. Taking our draw. We forgot to put our stop in, but it's okay. Here's 4 life, up to 21, plus the draw. These are all great cards to be pulling. We may as well aggress with Ugin. Take our clock back. Alright, that's 3. Just so if they do immediately deal with Ugin, we get our clock back rather than just dealing the 3 damage. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. 100% win rate, you guys. We're representing today with Grixis Control. Alright, looks like it's rogues again. I mean, what else would Lurrus be? We have an event. We have a negate. They're going right for it, yeah. Good on them. I guess just looking for land, maybe. I hate you, rogues. We have a few removals for them to fight through. It's going to be a question of whether they have their counters in hand or not. Oh, they go right for Lurrus. We need that second red source is the thing. I mean, event is an option. Event is great with Lurrus, so we should prioritize those for later, but wherever we can get the most from. We had a hello good game redeemed on Twitch, so you know what it is. Hello good game, my friend. Welcome to the Thunderdome. We'll give him a heart as well to try to make up for it. We love you still. Hey, I mean, that's on them, honestly. These are both odds, too. Oh, that just takes the wind right out of their sails, I bet. There's gonna be a concede here. We also have Midnight Clock, which directly counters them from the mill. I want to play this so bad. Go big? Yeah, go big. No way! It's always risky playing the Shark Typhoon instead of cycling it. Cycling is always a safe bet. It's always very good value. Making the Shark, grabbing a replacement card. But if you could get that Typhoon in play, that's lovely. We have land that we should just play. We've got plenty of removal. Dead mana can get dumped into our clock, which we don't really want to push too hard yet. because we'll be getting rid of our Ugin. We want to play Ugin before the clock resolves. That puts us to 7. We need 1 more land. They got a full hand we need to eat through. So it's going to be a job, but we'll get there. I am a bad, bad man. If this doesn't get countered. Shark Typhoon for president. Shark, 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 shark! That's how I feel. Every time I see Shark Typhoon, I think of Strange Wilderness when the sharks coming through the screen over and over again. Ha ha ha, just laughing. They are gonna need a couple hugs after this. Unfortunately, we lose a lot of really good cards here, but we've got 2 Typhoons in play. All right, since we lose it anyways, negate. Two sharks. It's fine, we still get the sharks. Right, it's when it's cast, not when it enters or whatever. And now, sorry if you were trying to mill us, we're gonna restart with a fresh hand, and we pull an Ugin and a land, so it's just... This is beyond a good setup here, like, I'm so sorry, friend. Let's get our second blue source in play. This is for you guys. For everybody watching who hates Dimir Rogues, I got you. Oh, the Rogue Killer strikes again. I just want to get to our sideboard so we can play our Witch's Vengeance just so they can see it. Right? All rogues get -3, -3. Come on, I want to get there. Alright, they're taking out some sharks. They're taking out some of our sharks, boys. We gonna let that happen? We gonna let that happen? Woo! Shark, shark, shark! You done well, kid. You done well. Yup. Hey, Thought Thief. That'll get us. I love that they're still here. It absolutely is great for footage. Right? What if they come back? What a match that would be, hey guys. That would be incredible. Even our tome makes 3 2/2 sharks. How will you ever get an attack through? I have the feeling we might get roped. We're gonna get roped. And a little bit of respect shown there, at least. Good game. 100% win rate. We're taking out rogues in multiple sessions with little resistance, you guys. Check out Grixis Control. Might be the deck for you. Alrighty, Grixis Control, 100% win rate. Crushing rogues. I absolutely love it. Shark, 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 shark. That's how I feel. I have been crushing on Shark Typhoon so hard recently. It gets me going. I cannot believe that second rogue match. I was a little worried playing the first Shark Typhoon. I was like, okay, we won the game. Playing the second, I was like, wow, this sucks for them. And that third one, oh, they deserve it. Filthy rogue players, you know what I mean? No offense, you guys. Enjoy the rogue deck. I don't mean to hate. It's just a lot of fun. Thanks for your time and attention. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel to a friend. Join our Discord for your 500,000 gem giveaway, free cash prize, monthly tournaments, and all that jazz. Support financially if you can afford to do so, because this shit is expensive, bro. I think we're losing money. Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, Amazon, everywhere and anywhere. Hit me up on Discord and we'll work something out. We'll figure it out. Again, thank you guys for your time and attention. I really appreciate it. Go have yourselves a magical day. Maybe watch another video. All right, take care. We'll see you soon.